Yes, yes, yes. This is the HL podcast for our HL Tuesdays. We are the dopest podcast in the DMV, presented to you all by the Harris Firm and Willpower Innovations. I am Amrock alongside your boy Chief.
Man, in the building, man. We excited for this one.
Yes, definitely excited for this one. Now tonight, this is our HL interviews where we sit down and converse with the up and coming and established, the talented and intelligent, the artists and entrepreneurs, and the creators and the activists. All right. Now, people, please remember that all of our previous interview episodes are available on all major podcast platforms and on our YouTube channels at the HL Podcast and the EEM Network. Right now, we are broadcasting live on the Roku platform and Apple TV on the Politicking app via Politicking Broadcasting. A very special shout out to the StreamYard platform where we are live right now on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. All right. And also, people, again, the newly released docu-film, The Lost Weekend, executive produced by Chief and myself, is available right now exclusively on the EEM Network via YouTube. And lastly, people, the HL magazine will be back on Juneteenth for our eighth issue. Get ready.
Get ready.
Get it.
Get ready. Also with The Lost Weekend, if you don't have YouTube, if you don't know how to get there, we made it so simple. It's in all of our links in the bio. All I had to do is click on it to take you right there. So once again, we got Amrock, we got Chief tonight. We have a special guest from Texas, radio host, journalist, traveling photographer. We're going to bring her in, Miss Tequelia Lewis. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are y'all?
Good, you're good. How's everything going?
Good, man. Really blessed. Always working, busy. Glad I can probably make it.
Absolutely.
We hear you. We hear you. We working as well. We working with you towards this purpose, towards this Black economics. So let's get it started. So first, we want to ask you, me and Amrock, we're big mental health advocates. Ironically, it is mental health. So we want to ask you, how is your mental right now? Are you stable? Are you strong? Are you up and down? How is it going right now? This after 2020.
Yeah. You know what? It's so crazy because maybe about like 2 months ago, I did a really big mental health seminar that they had in Houston by United Way, which everybody knows is a big organization that gives back to the community, especially like immigrants and people of color. And so I had a chance to host it and I shared my story because I have dealt with depression and anxiety most of my life. And people kind of assume because you have success or, you know, you're always out about it, you're doing things and you're smiling, that means that your mental health is okay. But a lot of times I was going through things people didn't know, and I smile and laugh as a coping mechanism so I don't have to cry. And so now today I feel like going through all those things, and I even went to therapy for it, it made me better. So now I know how to maneuver through life because life is hard, right? And a lot of us are just taking on those childhood traumas and we're just becoming adults and we ain't never dealt with it. So it shows out in your relationships. So how you have a relationship with your child, your parents, your spouse, you know, it comes out in these negative ways. So I had to address that. But now it's good. Of course, everybody that follows me knows my mom has cancer. And I recently just lost my uncle, like literally the next day after my mom got out of surgery, he died in his sleep. So life is going, but I feel like I have really learned how to address myself when I know I'm not okay and I can say it out loud. That way I can go ahead and be okay. So
I'm glad you say that. My pastor always tells us that it's okay to not be okay and actually say that because, of course, us in this culture, even when somebody says, yo, how you doing? We always say we good. But we truly not good all the time. And I'm also glad that you touched base on the childhood trauma. That's big time because we do carry that into adulthood. So I'm glad you spoke of that. So let's take us back to the beginning. So you're originally from Texas, correct?
Yeah, I'm originally from Houston. Did grow up a little bit in my adolescence during the Freaknik era in Atlanta with my mom. And then I lived in LA for a little bit with my dad. So I moved around, but I'm from H-Town. So.
H-Town.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So how was it like growing up?
Man, it's crazy. Back then, Houston was like, I wanted to get out of here. I was like, I can't wait to go to like New York City or LA or something.
Yeah.
It's changed so much, but it was a pretty good lifestyle. I mean, it was the country, city, metropolitan kind of like. Was always with my mom and grandma. Those were my primary parents for me.
Okay.
We all three lived in a household. And my mom is my grandmother's only child, and I am my mother's only child.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's all I knew. I had a very sheltered life. I'll say that.
Okay.
I hear you. So in this shelter life that you said, you found, your purpose within this thing, right? You talk about you're a photographer that you say you're on the radio right now. But what was actually your first passion?
Actually, you know what? When people ask the question, what did you want to be when you grow up? Exactly what I am. That's what I did.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, like no lie. I can remember the first time I ever did anything with journalism. I was in the 6th grade and I was the meteorologist for our school, and I would get on the TV and give the weather, and then it changed to they asking me to like do some anchor stuff. And then I would read the morning announcements in high school. I was a sports editor for the yearbook. I went on to Prairie View A&M University and became the sports editor as well as a copy editor for the Panther newspaper.
Wow.
I was just always in journalism since I was a kid. And the way it started was my mom, she knew whoopings wasn't going to train me to listen. So she used to tell me, write me 20-page papers on why you did what you did and how you going to do it better. So you trying to figure out, how am I going to find 20 pages worth of explaining this to my mom? But I realized I was creative and I found ways to just write until like break down everything and really express myself. So writing became the passion that led to journalism and everything else.
Wow. I like that foundation that your mom said with the writing that page paper, because me and Amrock talk about this all the time of having a house curriculum, right? Before we go to school and take on their curriculum, the foundation curriculum at home has to be great. And I'm glad you spoke about, that 20-page, paper, writing down, figuring out your thoughts, understanding yourself before yourself, right? So I'm glad. I see Amrock, you was about to say something.
My bad. Yeah, I just wanted to comment real quick. Yeah, I had a similar situation with my mom when I was like 5. She bought me this big geography book. I'm still like huge in geography and history.
Yeah.
She made me learn every capital of the world and all that. So, but like you said, that set the foundation to, just learning not just about history in the sense of, what happened in 1812 or whatever, but learn about now Black history and what we do on the podcast with the most known unknowns. And yeah, so I just wanted to, bring that up real quick. But
yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes in the Black community, we always associate, whooping our children as a way to get them to listen to us.
Right.
But a lot of times you got to figure out what the child's strong suit is and work around it. That way it doesn't always feel like a punishment, but then at the same time, it is something that's teaching them to be better, right?
Right.
And so that's just how, I got lucky enough that was the environment that I lived in, that, they just wanted me to be great. So they paid attention to the things that I did. And then I wasn't vocal like that. I was actually a very shy kid. I didn't say a whole lot. Writing and doing poetry and stuff like that. That's what helped me to really kind of express how I felt, because when you're not really telling people what's going on and you're young and you don't know how to deal with your emotions, you kind of like spaz out, right? And so I didn't have nobody to really turn to. And so when I would go back and read over these things, it would be like, dang, I was going through that. Like, dang, I made it through that. It was just a reminder of so much. And it became a passion. And so when I started sharing the poetry, I remember the first time I sold a poem, I was like in the 7th grade. People was like, can you read a poem from my boo? And they was like, you good with words. Like, you know how to, like, literally, you can visualize it when you write it down. And so, it was my way of sharing the narrative of what I saw every day.
That's good. That's good. And I hear you. That's amazing. So now, after, growing up and saying you were shy and kind of inside of your shell, did that help you now as an adult to help express yourself more? Because you've seen how as a child holding that in kind of bubble too long, and now you're like, I got to get it out before it destroys me.
Yeah. I really feel like I've grown, but it took a really long time to get there. Like, honestly, I don't even feel like I really got comfortable with myself until I got to be like in my late 20s. It was a lot to figure myself out. I feel more confident. Like, I'm 32. I feel more confident at 32 than I've ever felt my entire life, because I knew like what my passions were, but I used to get picked on a lot. People used to call me a nerd and stuff. So I was kind of more so ashamed to share that side of myself. And then when I realized it was a talent and people kind of was really listening to what I was saying, I was like, wait, ain't nothing wrong with me. The thing is, I know who I am. They don't. So they don't know how to handle me.
Exactly.
I had to figure that out.
Exactly. That's great to say. That's great to say. Right. So when did the opportunity with Afrovibes Radio come about?
Yeah, so I had just won a pageant, Miss Black and Natural Texas, and I was on this journey of exploring what it meant to be Black. I basically had just lost a friend and a classmate, Sandra Bland. We went to Prairie View together. We were in the marching together. It hit me really hard. I had never experienced anything like that in my life with somebody so close to me. And if y'all can remember, during that time, that's like when Trayvon Martin was getting killed. It was back to back. So that like I didn't know, you know. And so the opportunity came up in my email saying it was a new radio station. It was African based. If you want to come out and audition, just do it. And so the people at my job was like, you know, you have a journalism degree. This is your chance. Like, you all for Black Power, go. So I went, and I actually ended up being one of the people that was outshining everybody. And before I knew it, like when I first started, I did the blackout with somebody, a couple of people. It didn't work out. Had to come back, revise, and figure out what my lane was. Because, you know, when you're trying to collaborate with people that don't think like you, they're not going to value the same topics and ideas.
That's facts.
But I had to kind of figure out, okay, what is it that I want to focus on? And it was like Black excellence, like people on the news, they're sharing the narrative of Sandra Bland saying she's mentally unstable and she was fighting the cop. I know her. You know what I'm saying? I know who she is. I know this isn't true. I know she would commit suicide. So I was like, let me flip that. And I'm going to talk about the positive things people do in the Black community you don't hear about, the organizations, the resources that are available to us, because we don't get that exposure on mainstream media. And if we do, it's always something negative. So I wanted my platform to be strictly about all the amazing things that Black and brown people do across, not just here, but the African diaspora. And Afrovibes Radio allowed me to reach 3 million people in America, Africa, and the UK.
You can't even make that up. That's amazing. That's amazing. Incredible. Wow. So is this how Black Queen Media came involved as well?
Yeah, so when that started, man, revision, y'all. A lot of revision.
Exactly. Yes.
When that started, I was still doing the pageant, and at the time it was called Black Queen Talks. And so I had different like little tabs. I could talk about culture, I could talk about music, entertainment, whatever it was. And then I had to kind of start narrowing some things down. And that just came to focusing on the radio show. I realized I wanted to do more interviews visually because I wanted to do on YouTube because people wanted to see. I remember during that time, the Breakfast Club was like really gaining traction. Videos on YouTube. I was like, I want to do that, but more like in a Dr. Umar type of way, right? So I did that, and I realized it's picking up, it's doing good. I'm loving the camera. I start to fall back in love with it. I'm like, dang, let me start taking pictures. But what I'm going to do is I'm only going to take pictures of Black cultural events or Black events for people within our community, like festivals or whatever, and Black entrepreneurs. I'm going to highlight your products. And I got a lot of backlash these last couple of years because people, why you got to just be Black? You need to be inclusive. You're not going to get a lot of business. And to this day, I have not like given up. Like, I'm not going to change anything. And I tell them every time, if you want something that's inclusive, you can turn on any channel you want on the television. But if you want something strictly Black, you can come and watch my show.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's facts.
So,
I'm sorry, real quick. So, I just wanted to go back just real quick. You know, you bringing up that you were a friend of Sandra Bland. And you know, all most people know is like what you said, right? Like, oh, they said that she had mental issues and different, but you were her friend, as you just said. How was she as a person? How was she as a friend? Could you shed light on that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sandra was so cool. Like, she was one of those people. I wouldn't say she was hot-headed, but like she really meant what she said and said what she did. And she didn't care if you was the administrator or if you was a student. If she felt like in her heart she was right, she was gonna stand on that. And that's just the type of person that she was. I remember she was in the band and she ended up having to leave for a while because her and the director got into it, but it was because she truly believed what was right for her. And she loved band, but she left because of that. And I always had respect for her because she never let anybody challenge her mind, her ideals, anything. And so after she left band and I didn't really get to see her at practice, she was in a sorority, which is Sigma Gamma Rho, and I'm in a sorority, which is Gamma Sigma Sigma, and we have the exact same sign. It's just flipped. So whenever we see each other, we like throw up our sign, and she would always come give me a hug and be like, you know, you're going to be good. You're going to be great, whatever. And one of the last times that I talked to her, I remember I was going through a lot in my life. And I was kind of putting it like, you know, on social media that I was sad. And so she messaged me and she sent like this long message and she was just like encouraging me, y'all. She was like, you gonna be good. She was like, you're so beautiful and intelligent and smart. Like she really used to uplift me. And a lot of people don't know she used to make these videos, like really exposing stuff in the community. And
I will watch them.
And talking about Black culture around the time that she died. So it's just like, you know, it makes you think about things, but she is nothing what they say. Like maybe she had mental health issues. I don't know. I can't go that deep, but I know for a fact, anything that she did, it was from her heart. And I hate to see somebody's character be torn down or people put false narratives and you don't even know the person.
Right. Definitely appreciate you sharing that. Definitely.
Right. Definitely. Because you bring up the videos and one day, I don't know, God just took me just to her Sandy Speaks platform. And I was just looking at all of them and her message is so integrated. Right. So it's so hard to go against it and believe what they are saying about her. She kept the message so integrated. She never changed it. So like you wonder what truly happened. And they say only God knows, but it's just sad, strong queens like that.
I think she made a bigger difference, unfortunately, in her death than when she was here, because maybe millions of people would have never seen those videos or heard her story, whatever she was doing at the time. But it took her to die. And for me, the reason it hit me so hard, I seen Trayvon Martin and all these Black men, being basically lynched. But to see a Black woman go down a highway that we took to college every day, that was not even far from my house, from my mother's house till this day, it was like, it had me terrified. I was scared. Like, I didn't want to get pulled over because I'm like, you'll kill me just like you'll kill a Black man. You don't care. So it was a reality check for me.
Did it switch your mindset on things? Like, did it make you go hard on the things? Did it make you not question your purpose anymore? Like, how was your mindset after that?
I questioned a lot of stuff. I started questioning religion. I started questioning public institutions. Everything that I had learned, like, it didn't mean nothing to me no more. I swear it was like my third eye just opened up and life changed, and I ain't never been able to look at it the same. And it was a rough road because, when you're growing up Christian and stuff, you have these things that are put into you and you're not supposed to question anything outside of the Bible. Man, I started being like, hold up. Okay, so what was before the Bible? What was going on after? Who was what were the traditions? When you start to learn that, you can't unlearn it no more. You know the truth, and you get deeper and deeper. And I think I watched Hidden Colors, and it just all kind of stuff that I learned more about myself. And honestly, I felt like I struggled with my Blackness growing up because I was always in predominantly white schools until I got to like college, really. And I just didn't fit in nowhere. And so I didn't understand me. And when I understood where we came from and really started learning about how rich Black culture was, that's when I really started to love myself.
Yeah, I hear that. Thank you for sharing that. For real, thank you. So let's switch gears. So you have Squeeze Me Healthy as a foundation started by you and your mom. Can you speak a little bit about that for us, please?
Yeah, so Squeeze Me Healthy is like a little manifestation. When I was like 11, I told my mom, when I'm gonna get older, I'm gonna start me a breast cancer foundation, and it's gonna be all in your honor. I just all my life. And so last year, she actually went and filed all the paperwork and did everything so that I can have the organization, and she gifted it to me.
Wow.
And it was a beautiful thing because as a kid watching your mom have breast cancer, that was a lot. I really didn't mentally or emotionally understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sorry, got a kid. And I knew I had to create an organization that really showed not only what the cancer patient goes through, but what the family goes through as well, because it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. I got a 3-year-old, y'all. It's a lot going on. And so when I built it, the great thing about my mom, she's a vegan and she was breast cancer free for 20 years.
Amazing.
And little did I know that when she was gifting me this, it was because she had got diagnosed with breast cancer again. So she's been going through chemotherapy. She just had her reconstruction surgery on Friday. So it's like I'm going through these same things again. And but it's the perfect timing because with the organization, I'm going to use her blueprint of how she actually killed the cancer cells, because now they're saying she'll be cancer free due to the fact that she was using a lot of holistic products and herbs. She really, Dr. Stevie and things like that. And I want to share that with other Black women because they don't understand and realize that you don't necessarily just have to have chemo treatment. You can beat cancer just eating the right types of foods. And
that's what I'm
trying to instill in Black women so they can understand that, and also give them companionship and pair them up with other women that have been through similar things. Because people be like, oh, you got Avon, you got Susan B. Komen. Well, my mom applied for all of those places and they all denied her and did not want to help her. So Feed Me Healthy, as I said, is only for Black and brown women. They need assistance from their rent, utilities. If you just need companionship, if you need somebody to come in and show you the right types of things to eat and how to juice or whatever it may be, we're going to come and help and set that for you so you can fight this and you can cut it down in half. She went from having cancer in January to getting down to 50% by like April. The tumor had shrunk by 50%. That's like 3-4 months. So if she can do it, I know I can save a whole lot of other Black women.
Absolutely.
That's right. Absolutely. That's right. That's amazing. That's amazing to hear. So when did this actual foundation actually started again?
It's last year, 2020. October 2020. Yeah.
That's amazing. So me and Amrock, we like to do things like this. If you need any help, like spreading the word anymore, trying to get it to different places, we're here to help. We love hearing stories like that. We love hearing the passion behind it. And I feel like we're falling in love with your mom. She's so strong, right? I can feel her strength all the way over here. So we see how you're so strong. So thank you for sharing, that story with us. We appreciate that. So how has the process been building up your brand up to this point? Once again, me and Rock talk about this all the time. It's kind of tough as Black people in this world. We Black men, we Black women, just to build it from the bottom up. So speak about that, just building the brand in general as a Black woman. What's the ups and downs with it?
Absolutely. When I first started, obviously I didn't have a big audience because nobody knew me, right? I hadn't did a whole lot with the organization yet, which people need to be able to see your face to really want to give and donate because they need to see what you're doing. So it was a slow process. And I tell people all the time, like, man, I've been doing Afrovibes for 6 years. And when they're like their 3rd or 4th year, that's when I started getting recognized in my city. And now people know who I am. It takes time, and it was a lot of times I wanted to give up. And my uncle that just passed, one of the things he used to tell me was, it's always right when a person's about to make it that they want to give up. And he was like, that moment, and you really feel like this isn't for you, he was like, you got to push through it. He was like, you're going to be so successful. It's like, everybody can see it in me. But it's hard, man, building a brand. But thank God for social media. Thank God for being able to promote, for being able to have friends that can share. That's how I've been able to reach people. Honestly, I feel like it's enough for everybody because we all have our own little communities and we all have a word of mouth. And if we just buy amongst each other, we'll be self-sufficient. It's about support. Like, you got to go out and support other Black-owned businesses.
That's right.
And the great thing with Squeeze Me Healthy is, like, I have a fundraiser coming up on June 9th, and I have 2 cancer patients that I'm going to be donating 100% of the proceeds to. I've got a total of like 4 to 5 Black-owned businesses that have donated either their service or their product 100% free for me to auction off to give these people this money.
Wow.
And so not only that, now they get a chance to be in a room with these people. They can not only network, but they get to see that, hey, I want to buy your product because you believe in something greater than yourself. And that's how I collaborate with people. Everything not about money. I'm not money enticed. And I think that makes me different from a lot of people. If I don't have a big mansion house or whatever, just the fact that I know, dang, I was able to help that Black woman and her child with some resources, that's great. Right. That's great. You know what I'm saying? I feel happy and content with that. So it's hard. I'm still building. I have an idea of what I would like to see for my brand, but I really feel like I have to just keep going. You know, you got consistency. That's
right. That's right.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciate that. So, you know, you spoke a little bit about last year, right? You know, starting the Squeeze Me Healthy Foundation and you know, you being on Afrovibes. So, but obviously last year, right, the pandemic hit, right? So what was that initial reaction once everything shut down in March of last year? Like what was your initial reaction? How was everything for you? How, you know, like did a couple of things stop? Did you have a couple of things planned and, you know, that got canceled? How was everything for you?
As far as like the brand, of course, me doing photography, I can't travel now, right? And then me doing Squeeze Me Healthy, can't hold any events. So everything kind of just went to a halt for a really long time. However, I was still working, so it didn't really change for me. I said to get up every day and go to work. I was blessed that I kept my job. But to be real with y'all, I was like, yes, finally we can sit down. Everybody can have a seat. Take some time to breathe. But take some time to breathe or whatever it is. Because for me, I'm an introvert. So I'm okay with being in the house. I wasn't sure.
I hear that.
Yeah, I liked it went off.
Oh, no, you good.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad for me, but I also feel like it exposed a lot because we've seen how George Floyd, who just had a memorial, also from Houston, for that man to get killed in the middle of a pandemic and a quarantine, it spoke a lot of numbers about what America is.
You can say that again.
Anti-racist. So it said a lot to the world. And again, it's sad to see things like that happen with Sandra Bland, but sometimes somebody have to go through it for the world to see it. And for that man to have had that man's knee on his neck like that for the whole world to watch on video, and he didn't think anything was wrong with it, it really showed our justice system for who they are. It shows we have an issue with, policing communities, which we know that. It's just the world don't know it. You know, it's so funny. When I first started Afrovibes, I used to get into a lot of debates with a lot of African people. They'd be like, yeah, Black people lazy and Black people don't want to get an education. And y'all got all these free resources in America. And I had to sit down and break it down to them. I'm like, no, they put us in certain institutions where we don't get the same education as other kids that have maybe more of a different color. No, we might go get an education and have a degree. And then they tell us, well, you really need a master's degree to get this position. Or they rather hire their friend for the position and let a person of color come in and take charge of the environment. So we got to go through a lot of challenges. It's not easy for us. And it exposed it. And the other part of it was we ended up finding out this was happening all over the world in other people's country to Black people.
Exactly. Yep.
So quarantine exposed a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So transitioning into, radio now, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. If you want to get to something.
I wanted to have a light. I don't want to be messing up y'all's.
No. You good. We got time if you want,
No, you good. Go ahead.
All right. But so you are a radio host, right? On 95.3 Jams. I hope I'm saying that correctly. In Houston, right? Where you host soul and Black activism, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Please tell us about how that opportunity came together and about the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, some of their people had reached out to me and told me that Raz-B was in town and they wanted me to come out and do like some interviews. And I've been actually gone for a while because I've been helping my mom out a lot. So that's really why I hadn't been at Afrovibes. So while I was gone, I was starting to feel kind of like that depression again, right? Like I was feeling like I wasn't doing nothing. And I'm one of them people, if I'm not actively moving, I feel like I'm not progressing. I gotta.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah.
And so when I went there, I just love like the positive vibes they were showing me, and they was just sticking strictly to the music. And that was one thing that I didn't have on my previous show. It was just straight talk. And I'm a lover of acoustic soul and R&B. Like that's really how I speak.
Yes.
Like to other people, I send songs to my boo, like how I'm feeling if I can't find the words, you know how Black people do. I love it.
Yeah.
And so I presented the idea of me having a show there and if I could just try it out. And after they seen the interview that I did and how professional it was, because I guess during that time, Rasby has a lot of allegations against him and people just coming at him. And my thing is, I don't want to do gossip. I like to just talk about the positive. And that's what I did. Yep. And they respected me. And they was like, you can come, no questions asked, come do the show. He didn't even hear my radio show, nothing.
Yeah, wow.
Me. So they've accepted me with open arms. And so he told me, figure out a name for the show, what you want to do. And I knew I really liked the blackout with talking about Black excellence, but I wanted to do something with the music. So that's where I came up with Soul and B, Soul and Blacktivism. And so I'll talk about cultural events. I give like my 6 top topics about whatever's affecting the Black community around the world. And in between that, I'll play nothing but like UK soul or R&B soul artists that a lot of people, they may listen to or never even heard of. Because there's some great talented artists out there. And I really hate when we have people like Jasmine Sullivan that don't get her flowers and get the recognition she deserves and has such a powerful voice. And they tell stories, amazing stories about what we go through. Right now, I'm a big fan of Pip Millett in the UK. And she has a song featuring Gets right now called, I think it might be Running, I can't remember. But one of the lines that she says in the song is, something in regards to being Black and free, ? Is that even a thing?
Right.
All the way in the UK.
Right.
So I can feel that. So when I talk about these topics, I share these people's music so they can go support a Black artist that's not getting the same recognition as a lot of these talentless people that are on mainstream. So that's what I do. I present new artists, new acoustic soul and R&B music to my audience while I teach them a little bit about what's going on in the world.
Amazing. Amazing.
That's great. That's great. So again, photography, journalism, right? Which one is more challenging yet rewarding?
Challenging yet rewarding.
Interesting.
Journalism. That's my heart right there.
Okay.
I have a natural talent with understanding people and talking to them and getting the right information out. But of course, you gotta be here, right? You can't just be writing down a whole bunch of crap. I take my time and I have to research these people. I have to research what's going on in the world. It's a lot of time that I sit down and I study so I can make sure I'm, giving out the right information to my audience because I need them to accurately know what is going on. I don't want to have no misinformation.
Yeah, I feel that.
Time. And then there's travel. I just told my cousin today, I said, a lot of people don't know, I did a lot of free stuff back in the day that's paying for what I got today.
That's right. That's
I didn't charge a lot of people for stuff. I just did it. And now these people is like, I'll be at your fundraiser. I'll donate however much money because I gave my time.
That's right.
Passion. When you want to do something and you ain't even getting paid for it.
That's deep. That's deep. Absolutely. I feel that 100%.
So you brought up George Floyd, you brought up your friend Sandra Bland, right? And Trayvon Martin as well. We just talked about Michaela Miller on our podcast and what happened with her in Massachusetts. But yet we see that other race groups are receiving what do they call it? They're getting bills passed for their protection, right? What's your thoughts on that? And as far, I know you spoke on it a little bit earlier, but what's your thoughts on just that blatant disrespect towards Black people?
See, I talked about this today. This is the problem that I have with this.
Okay.
You want the Black vote, but then you don't want to do anything for the Black community.
There you go.
And that's why you have organizations like BLM on your neck, making sure that you passing these policies and these laws. Because you owe that to us. Because in our opinions, we felt like we were still choosing between a lesser evil, and we chose you. So you need to make sure that you take care of us. But it never happens that way because, of course, we are not valued and our voice is not valued, let alone our lives. So I would not expect them to pass anything. However, this is my whole idea about the system. Why is it still in place and why are we allowing it to be in place? There are more citizens in this country than there are governmental officials. We have the power to overrun. We have to take the power in our hand and say, you know what? Maybe we don't need a president right now.
Right.
The Supreme Court right now. We'll take care of this in our hands. I'm not saying get all crazy and go riot in the street or anything, but maybe we just need to come in our own communities and take it back to Black Wall Street and say, you know what? We got our own ideas. What was that thing with God? What is that rapper's name? He had the thing on Netflix and he had all of them living on their own.
Killer Mike.
Yeah, we might need to go and do that so we don't have to follow your policies and your rules. Because for some reason, Black people always get the end of the stick. Like, great, Asians are being beaten, killed. They get reparations. What about us?
Which
you call us lazy, but then you forget we built this country. It was our labor of Black slaves that built this country. This is our land. These are our homes, and you owe us a portion of that wealth. Now you need to distribute it out the same way you've been distributing out these stimulus checks and these child tax credits. It is possible, and you have the money.
I'm glad you said that. Glad you said that because we was touching base on this on a podcast, and we do a lot of research and a lot of history. And what you see is you notice that once the Black culture and the Black civilization is finally at the forefront, and the whole world owes us. Remember, we're not just owed by one country. We owe by the whole world.
Yep.
The whole world gains something off of our backs. So once we're there, another group always springs forward. You can look at it in time and time again. Whichever group got their bills, I guarantee you something happened with the Black folk first. And it's happening over and over again. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you.
But you know what's crazy? You would think by this point in time, like people would get the message, right? Because I truly believe, and no disrespect to our Spanish brothers and sisters or anything like that, but they was starting to think they was white, right? Because of their skin color, and they was getting a lot of opportunities until Trump came into office and had to remind them the N-word doesn't just apply to Black people. It applies to you. It applies to the Asians. It applies to the Middle Easterns. Everybody. They've done us all wrong. So why are we still not working together? That don't make sense to me. But it's like they rather be a part of that than step away and help us break down the system. And until people really become an ally to Black people, we in this fight by ourselves, and we already divided as it is.
Yep. Yeah,
that's a fact.
We just with our latest episode, we titled that Black Bonding, because that's what we need to do. We need to bond and come together, right? Because that's, like you said, we're not seeing that right now. You know, there's certain groups out there, but we all need to come together as a whole, as much as white people do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Claude Anderson said this. He said that nothing comes about when we're all so dispersed, right? We have to find one thing, like Marcus said, bind together. And then, like, what did he say? Power doesn't make any sense when it's dispersed. Power only is effective when it's concentrated. We're not concentrated on anything. We're here, we're there. Then we got other powers that's in between us as well, that's dispersing us more. Like you said, we're already divided by skin color. We divided men and women. We divided in between so much, we don't even know who we are, right? And it's sad. It's sad, but I like the trajectory that we're on. Like, for us to be talking about it and having this conversation about it, that means we're going somewhere. We're not the only ones. And I hope everybody that's listening, that look, get on this train now, because we might leave you soon.
And I truly feel like these last couple years, a lot more Black people have woken up, because if you really paid attention during quarantine, man, it was so many Black businesses getting developed because people were forced to stay at home. And it was like, well, dang, let's say the workforce don't never come back. How am I going to survive? Now it's time to tap in, right? And people started figuring out what it is that they was good at and what they can do and sell. And it's just so much out here to support, man. I love it. Like, I honestly feel like quarantine and COVID was a blessing of Black people, because we have been more financially stable now than we've been in a long time. We just got to figure out how we're going to circulate those trillions of dollars amongst the Black community, because if you buying Gucci and stuff, they not coming back to the hood to give it to the school system or anybody in the hood. They keep it up for them and they people and they wealth. But if we come together and we circulate and we come together as Black businesses and say, hey, I'm going to put $1 million, you put $1 million, you put $1 million. We can have a grocery store. We can have a movie theater. We can have our own school systems. We can have whatever we want. But we have to understand materialistic things don't have any value. We're really learning, like, we need life insurance. Like, we need some IRAs. We got to have stocks, and we have to have bonds, things that we never knew before. We're getting a hold of that information, and we're shaking the table, and people are scared because they know quickly they're going to go from being superior to inferior, and they're afraid because of all the things they've done to all these people of color, and they think we're going to do it back to them, but we haven't. We don't have no heart to do that to you, because we have what's called morals, and we know that that's not correct. These laws and the Bible and all this stuff, my uncle used to say, those are rules for white people because they don't have no morals. And I know it ain't all white people, but it's some. We know that we don't have to do those things. So unfortunately, they are scared, and they do see the more peaceful protests we have, that's a threat to them. Because now we're not killing each other. We're not burning nothing down. We making you accountable for your actions.
That's right. That's right. That's a fact.
Great.
Man, you better talk to him. You on this thing talking to him. So let me ask you this. Of course, you heard the word purpose on here many a times. We believe in purpose so much. We believe that purpose is just like the bird is born to fly, just like the fish is born to swim. What do you think your life purpose is?
Man, I feel like my life purpose is to tell our truth. And I keep everything in here and I write it down, because one day we need something that we can show the next people that come after us. Because right now, Texas is doing some crazy stuff, man. And I think they just passed a law or put it on Governor Abbott's desk to basically remove any form of type of racism or history dealing with racism in the book. And we knew that was coming when they decided to change terminologies to indentured servant instead of slave. For some reason, the white man believes if he just pulls it out of the history book like they do everything else, it's just going to disappear. Well, yeah, y'all did that with slavery when you put the Bible in the slave's hand. But guess what? We're in 2021, and now we listening to Afrobeats music, and we wearing kente. We trying to figure out how to take this African ancestry test so we can figure out where we come. Where we come from. It's too late now. It don't matter. You can pull it all out if you want to, but now we have orature. We can pass it down. We don't care if you take it out the book. So I need to be the person that keeps that and be the orator and be the narrator for our truth. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I'm going to continue to highlight us and document everything that we do. That's great and amazing.
That's right. I hear that. That's a great foundation. That's perfect. And lastly, what's up next for you in 2021?
Man, hopefully just continuing to grow my photography business. I'm traveling now that everything is opening up. I'm working with some amazing entrepreneurs in the Black community. I actually have a photo shoot coming up with a young lady. It's called Tiff Talks, and she does these magazines, and it covers the top however many influential Black women or men that are successful in Houston. And so I'm going to get to take the pictures of all the Black men in Houston that have been successful in their entrepreneurship. And this will be my first editorial spread for photography. And I'm really excited about that. And I think I'm really going to tap into writing again, because I would like to produce some mini web series and some documentaries sharing some more history, especially Texas history, man. It's a lot here on Black people that people don't know nothing about. People have moved from here and migrated to California, to Louisiana, all these places. These are the heart of Texas, and I want people to know that. And just, man, write some stories. Maybe I'll be the next Issa Rae one day, hopefully.
There you go.
Nice.
I hear that.
That's great. Yeah, we if you got maybe five minutes after the show, something just came to me as you were saying that we could possibly collab on. We'll talk about that, but definitely appreciate that. And So right now we're gonna get into our quick five. All right. So I'm gonna ask you 5 quick questions. We just need 5 quick answers. All right. All right. So first up, tell us one thing that you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your journey.
Consistency.
Okay.
That's what's gonna get you where you want to be.
Yep. Absolutely.
Facts.
Next, which public figure that has passed on, right, would you have loved to possibly have met, talked about each other's experiences, maybe pick their brain for their knowledge, or discuss potential business opportunities?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I can get that quick though.
That's fine. We got time. We got a little bit of
time. That has passed on.
Yes.
Man, you know what? This is gonna sound crazy, and I have a lot of other amazing people, but I would love to sit and talk to Tupac, man.
Oh, I really would. Yeah.
He comes from a foundation of the Black Panther Party. I love to talk to him. And I really believe that man was intelligent and he had courage and he had his own mind. But I think at the end of his life, he was probably being a follower and getting involved in things he shouldn't have been in, because before that man spoke nothing but truth. I wish I could talk to him.
I hear that.
I think that's the first time we got Tupac.
Yeah, that's the first Tupac for us.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. Yeah. So other than Beyonce, right? Give us your top 3. Because look, we understand Texas. We get it.
Yeah.
She's cool. I'm not a super fan, but she's cool.
Yeah. So give us your top 3 entertainers from the state of Texas.
In Texas. Dang, y'all putting the pressure on me. Well, definitely Selena. It don't matter what race she is. We love Selena. I know Queen.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely another entertainer. Oh, this is one of my cousins, Loretta Devine. I think she's one of the most amazing actresses in the world.
Incredible.
Yes. And lastly, God, who else? I don't know.
That's cool. 2 is cool, and those are great. For
sure.
That's great. So, if you could choose between never doing journalism again or photography again, which one would it be?
Easy. I'll never do photography again.
Why is that easy?
Man, the people I have had the honor of meeting and interviewing is priceless.
Yeah.
I've met some amazing people. Like when I was a kid, I got to meet Aaliyah, man. People ain't gonna never get to say that,
I know, right?
Like, think about that. I've met so many amazing people, and it's just, I wouldn't change it for the world. They changed my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you and have met a lot of amazing people in your life. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Sure, definitely.
To hear this, that's incredible. So finally, what do you pray for the most?
The most? Ooh, I be praying too. No, honestly, I pray for my confidence to keep going. Because some days it's hard. Some days I'll be like, man, I've been doing this for a long time. Why am I not where I want to be at? Like, I just have this vision, and sometimes I get scared. Like, I'm afraid of failure. Yeah. And I just pray for the confidence to not worry about it and just work through it.
Yeah.
So that can be challenging. Things can really, really challenge your confidence when things are going good and then things stop and you start to feel like you're not whole anymore, because that's a part of who you are, which I think for quarantine, that was me not being able to do journalism and photography. I just felt stuck. So it's the confidence to know that even when things stop, that's a time to create new things.
Yeah.
You never stop having a goal. So I pray I always keep my confidence to keep achieving whatever it is I want to achieve in my life.
Yeah, I hear that. I like to leave you with this as well. This is the gem that I've been holding on to for a while. I know you spoke about failure. I know you spoke about depression. I know you spoke about a lot of things. And I've learned over these years, especially listening to Dr. Miles Monroe, that God doesn't trust anybody that hasn't paid a price. And you have to pay the price to be who you are. If you don't believe me, ask Jesus. He had to pay the price to be the Savior. So you got to be the price to be who you are and who you were born to be. Right. So whatever you're going through, it's that price you had to pay. And you spoke about it before. You paid the price earlier, and now all your fruits is coming in right now. Make a lot of sense, right? So you don't have to continue to pay the price, but it's only golden from here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Now that's beautiful. I'm gonna remember that. Because if you forget it, sometimes you'll give up on the dream, you'll give up on the passion, and you feel like you have nothing else to give, and it's always something to give.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's real. Thank you.
No problem. Keep grinding.
No,
thank y'all for letting me come on y'all show. Like, this is really awesome, man. I'm so glad y'all reached out to me. It's like a good, genuine conversation. Like, just talking. I appreciate y'all having a platform like this. This is some like very positive, informational, genuine conversation, and I can do nothing but respect that, just journalist to journalist.
That's right. We respect you as well. Appreciate that.
No, thank you, and just telling your story and just being open to us. We only spoken via chat or meeting before just one time, as far as getting on a Google call. So we thank you, and definitely appreciate you for being on this platform, and again sharing your story and speaking your truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking your truth and talking about your foundation. We definitely appreciate it. This is awesome. This is incredible.
And y'all know y'all always welcome to my show. Y'all can come spread the word about the show.
Appreciate that. Hey. Oh, definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. So you have any, as we, close out the interview, you have any closing remarks, anything you want to say to the people?
The only thing I can really say is just make sure you're practicing self-love and you're figuring out who you are. Once you know who you are as a person, everything else will follow. A lot of times people are lost in this world because they're ashamed of just being themselves. Don't allow social media, don't allow anything in this world to change who you are or give you an interpretation of what you should be. You don't have to live up to anybody else's ideals or standards. You are your own. Everybody was created for a reason to give something to this world, and you were meant to be different. That does not mean something is wrong with you. That does not mean you are not of value to this world. It just means God has shaped you a little differently because he has something he needs you to do and deliver in a different way that somebody else can't. So you just got to believe in that.
That's so deep. Thank you for leaving that little seed that will grow forever on this platform and forever in this world. We appreciate that. Also, thank you guys for just tuning in and listening to this amazing platform. We'll be back June 8th with a new interview, and episode 83 will be dropping soon. Like Amrock always say, man, peace and love.
Peace and love, everybody.